and I'm going to go back again because I'm going to sound like a broken record about the NWO. Is this some type of depopulation program that they're trying to create, or are they trying to get rid of the weaker, the young, the old? I mean,
Yeah.
who would you think this affects the most,
Well,
as far as health wise?
well, we know that we have to get rid of a lot of people on this planet if we're going to survive. And the thing is, who do you get rid of? Who is the most the old, the ones that are the weakest? I think that there's a lot of factions involved here as to what these agendas actually are. Documents show historically that the funded agencies and the genocide, depopulation, family planning, etc., etc., it isn't working. People are still having more babies, and the planet is too full as it is. So it's like, well, we're going to take matters into our own hands. If natural disaster doesn't get them, we're going to fix it. And I really think that that is what is happening. And all this, it's going to become under, like it did in the Middle Ages, under the category of a plague. And nobody will know what caused it.
It sure looks like that. It sure looks like that. Let's talk a little bit about more of what chemtrails do. I mean, we notice sometimes we'll notice, something in the sky from a plane, and it's funny how I just moved close to the flight direct. I guess like the main flight channel for the Fort Lauderdale airport, and I'm seeing the jets go by all the time, and I don't see contrails or chemtrails coming off these planes, but yet, when I was living on the beach, I got to see tons of spraying going on, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, it's the humidity. It's the it's a contrail. It's a contrail. It's the humidity." What do you think is probably the most significant thing for a person to notice on a chemtrail? Is it the fact that it spreads? Is it the fact that it drops? Is it what's an easier way for someone to tell the difference?
Well, anybody that's looking up at the sky can see that their clouds don't make straight lines across the sky, not like that. And when the wind hits them, they spread out in a straight line pattern. And a lot of this stuff now is contaminated. It's going into even our rainwater. There have been samples taken of massive contamination with aluminum and barium particles. And if you look at the sun, when it's either coming up or setting, instead of being a clear sun, it looks like a fuzzy ball. And the atmosphere now, the barium atmosphere now exceeds the EPA safe limit. They're taking samples out of it, and the research scientist Clifford Carnicum states that the amount of barium in our atmosphere now exceeds 8 times the level that is deemed safe for humans to breathe.
So we're breathing poison every day, pretty much, and no one knows about it.
Right. Absolutely. So, when you see the Japanese going around with masks in Tokyo, and I'm like, these people are smart.
Yeah, I can see that, especially at this point in our history, the way things are going.
Tokyo is polluted enough from all the cars and everything there, but they're starting to wear more and more. They're starting to wear masks. And the thing is, the toxicity of barium is comparable to that of arsenic. So we're slowly going to kill it. They're going to kill us gradually.
And that's exactly what comes to mind for me. Is this just a slow death? Is this just a weakening of the immune system? Is it just a weakening of our resistance to disease? I try to look at it from the positive angle of, okay, well, maybe they're just building up our immunity. You know how an antibiotic works? They give you a little bit just to build you up, but after researching barium and aluminum and all these other things that are supposedly, well, not supposedly, that have been proven to be in these fumes or these aerosols, to make it blunt,
No.
I mean, it cannot be helpful. It can't be something that's going to save us in the long run.
I have a report that goes back to May 24th, 2004, and the listeners can get this on www.carnicom.com/ppm1 or they can look up enforcement of toxicity. Even the filters that are put on the furnaces and stuff like this shouldn't be happening now. And they this is what I'm says. When I read this, the toxicity levels are like they're arsenic. And we know that when you are poisoned by arsenic, it is a gradual thing. It doesn't happen all at once. You get weaker. It attacks certain parts of the body. It can attack your muscles. It'll attack your lungs, attack your brain. And it's horrifying. I mean, it's really horrifying to think what is going on out there. And what is it going to take for the people to rise up and say, enough? Enough is enough.
Oh boy, that's a whole nother show. But the herd mentality. Maybe we should start touching on that next week. But yeah, I heard something today about they were talking about socialism and communism in China, and the amount of people that are there. They don't rise up against their leaders. So what are the chances that the mass public, whether it be in North America, South America, or Australia, are going to start going, well, what the hell is that? What are you pouring on us? There's very scattered, scattered here and, here and there local news stations that will do a little segment on it. I remember back, maybe 8-9 years ago when Brian Norcross from Hurricane Andrew fame was talking about particles in the atmosphere, and there were supposed to be these siliconic, strands that were floating in our atmosphere, and that's what was on the satellite.
Yes.
And then you never heard anything again.
Uh-huh.
You never heard a thing again, and from my understanding now, the NOAA satellites are using computer washing to wash away the chemtrails before they give these satellite images to their subscribers, i.e., these networks, these weather reporters and whatnot.
Well, another horror of this too, of barium being in our atmosphere, what it does, it ignites the pathogens of multiple sclerosis. Can you believe this? I read this in a very long report, and the distribution of MS clusters correlates with workplaces and environments that are associated with elevated levels of barium.
Unbelievable.
And also there are, now there's not just one type of chemtrail, there are many different types of chemtrails. And one of the things that observers are also looking at is chemtrails that are containing high qualities of igniting, I'm using the wrong term, like gunpowder, but similar to it, that this spread into our atmosphere and say a flare from a plane or something like that, they can actually burn the sky.
So would you say this would be a conduit for, or is it a flammable substance in case there were let's say a bomb was dropped or a nuclear weapon was dropped somewhere?
Yeah.
It would incinerate the sky as well.
Yes, it would spread around the whole world.
Huh.
And
Wonderful.
I think this is another show too, Bernard, because it's maybe why all these rich people are digging into the ground and reserving their spaces below the earth.
Below ground. Exactly.